Good morning, everyone. Yes, that's right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Friday, February 4th, 2022, and what a crazy overnight move. Big earnings releases. We will get into those. And what do y'all think about the Amazon Snapchat move? Huh? You think the market's going to recover off of that? Or do you think it's going to dip? Dip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Right? All right, so my big old head is really big today. Whoa, I need to move that sucker down a little bit. There we go. Much better. That way I don't get yelled at for having my big old head in the way. Just kidding. All right, so with that being said, let me get signed into the chat here real quick, and we will get going. I'm going to try to get as much in today as possible. With that being said, we're going to hop into it really quickly. So, morning chat. Good morning, chat. Oops, I forgot how to futures trade open. It's not doing so great right now. Overnight market is tanked, which is all right. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. It's all okay. I'm give it a few minutes and we will get going. I'm just grabbing my news here real quick. Apologize, a little few minutes behind, but it'll be all right, I promise. It will be okay. All right, there we go. What do you all want to look at first? Snapchat? So yesterday I was trading the open, streaming the open for the bullish bears, and I fat fingered a Tesla trade, right? I was moving this chart around, not this one, right? I was moving this sucker around right here. And, hold on. I was moving this chart around, and it decided it wanted to, because I've got auto send set on my options charts because I'm my active trader, and I guess I clicked inside of the active trader and it auto sent the order. I don't know if you've ever done that before or not, but I didn't panic, and I was in it. Tesla was at a good level, right? Let's move over here a little bit. That's weird. I have to manually drag this chart into place, which really sucks. And let's see, there's that. And then I think we're good at the bottom. All right, so it was this chart here, right? Let me show you. So this is my trading chart, right? I've got the 4 or 5 stocks I'm looking at plus NQ and ES, and I've got an active trader section right here. I guess I grabbed it down in here someplace, and it auto sent an order for Tesla. It actually turned out okay because Tesla did make a pretty decent move overnight or that day. I did cut a little early, which is fine. I'll take a base hit or a double any day over trying to hit a triple or an in the park home run. You know what I mean? Too many chances of getting thrown out. So probably the most interesting news that I've seen so far is the Snapchat news, right? Let's look at what happened, right? Big old earnings, massive earnings, right? Pretty much doubled. I think it was a 48% increase. And then they just kind of slowly faded off of that. If you look at the 30-minute chart, though, they're pulling right back to the 13 EMA, still maintaining the 4-hour Keltner channel top. And it looks like weekly top. I think it's weekly. So 4-hour weekly tops. It did come back to the daily mid. So on the run up, daily mid sold off yesterday, right? Last 2 days. Into earnings, big pop into earnings. They're basically back where they were before the drop. What are we going to do with this? We're going to watch it. Ivy's going to be crushing today, especially since it's Friday. Look at Snapchat into next week, see how this holds up. Let's look at, remember Google? Let's see, with their blowout earnings, right? So they've just kind of melted their way down to the daily top. 4-hour mid. Google may, if it cracks 2861, it's got the 50-day, right, at 28.25. A lot of support here as far as the weekly and the daily mids go. We're at that $28.20, $28.40 level. If we do get that pullback, it'll be a nice pop off of that. If it can't hold that, then it's back down to the 4-hour bottom. So pretty easy peasy. Little look there on Google. Let me make this chart. Make this chart. There we go. See, nice rip right back to the 13 EMA. And if it dips through, bounce off the 21 and continuation. Okay, that's Google. And then obviously this is a FlowTrade chart. Okay, I've got futures up. Should have, there we go, futures that. This guy. All right, sometimes I like to look at point of control and then just a good overall chart to have. All right, let's get into it. As far as news is concerned, before I do that, let me know if you have requests. Put them in the chat now, and we'll get into. I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. And check out this drink, yo. See it? Mirrors. Right? I don't know if y'all can see that, but basically it's a Sonic energy drink that tastes like crap. It's pretty bad. It's my emergency stash. It's my, oh, I'm out of everything else. Let's drink that. All right, sorry. I'm in a futures trade from that dip down at 44.55. I'm up like 50 bucks on it so far. It's funny, I've been trading a lot more futures during the day with this chop because it's easy to scalp 20-30 bucks at a time and not get burnt. I took my little futures account from 200 bucks to 600 in the last couple days. $5 a point. I mean, it's like if you guys ever played blackjack, $5 a hand, you're sitting at that table a long time to make 600 bucks. So, all right, let's get into the news. All right. Toshiba Corp is considering splitting in half instead of 3 and will offload its U.S. air conditioning business for $870 million. The Nikkei Index said on Friday to overcome shareholder opposition to its turnaround plan. Skyworks, SWKS, we've traded this before. Q1 adjusted EPS at 314 versus 310. Q1 revenue at 1.5 billion versus, 1.51 billion versus 1.5. Sees Q2 adjusted EPS midpoint 2.62 versus 2.6, and revenues 1.3 to 1.36 versus 1.32. Well, what happened? Everything's sold off, and now it's gonna stay away from it. Pinterest. Oh, Pinterest. Q4 revenues 800. Look at that. Wow. Q4 revenues 847 million versus 827. Monthly active using subscribers -6%. Says in 2022 to expand ads business to new geographics including Japan, Argentina, Colombia, and Chile. Said Q4 monthly active users declined due to Google's November algorithm updates and competition. Absolutely correct. But look what it did. It held 5,200 for our mid. If it is recovering, we can go 28 to 30 pretty easily. The 30 to 33 is going to be a fight on our way up to 33.80. Remember the falling 50, so it's still downtrending. Possible a little bit of a slingshot squeeze release, a little bit of a recovery here, but as long as these two bottom rows are red, I'm just going to start staying away from anything that's red, or especially double red or red and yellow. We're going to start getting real choice with our selections, okay? I just hope y'all are cool with that. Snapchat up 50%. Q4 EPS 22 cents versus estimated 10. Q4 revenues 1.3 billion versus 1.2 billion. Anything that is up additional billions has been ripping, okay? Q4 daily active users up 20% year over year to 319 million versus estimated 316. Okay, and they guide their Q1 revenues at 103 to 108 billion versus 102, and Q4 rest of world daily active users 140 million, up 41% year over year. Average revenue per user is $4.06, 18% year over year. So if you're a Snapchat user, you are worth $4.06 to them. Okay, so what do? They ripped up their chilling 4-hour top weekly cloud. okay, that white cloud, and then the daily top, they kissed it. So they're going to try to get back up to this daily cloud, which is that elusive $40 level. Above 40, immediate resistance at 40 43. If they can clear this little trading zone right here, let me show you what this is. So this little trading zone, this is the one they're fighting with right now. Oh, I should use this red. Make that red. Where's my tools? Where's my tools? Where's my tools? Nope, come on. All right, that's the zone they're going to have to fight to get into again. And they've got previous high resistance of 44.37, and they've got that 50-day that's going to cause them a little bit of issue. Potential choppy. While it fights to maintain this and build this bull flag over the next couple 4-hour periods, there's no squeezes that are going to help it out. It's green and yellow, which is good, and we've got a ready aim buy mid buy signal. So I like it for this level. If it breaks below 34.83, gonna get a quick flush back down to 31.75, possibly 30.80, right? So if it goes up, it would be the daily top, daily mid break down to daily bottom. Okay. All right, that's Snapper Chat. Pinterest we did. Y'all interested in microchip or this one? This one drives me nuts. FTNT. Fortinet, not Fortnite. Fortinet, right? GoPro. GoPro is usually a pretty good small cap to play. Q4 Q4 adjusted EPS at 90 cents versus 35. Blowout earnings per share. Revenue 391 versus 382, so they missed on revenue. Subscriber count more than doubled, and board approved 100 million stock buyback program. What is this going to do? It's going to do 8 to 9. If you wanted to get in it, 9.50 to 10 would be a good one. And let's see. Remember Bill, BILL? We traded that last week. Shares up 25%. Q2 adjusted EPS at 0 versus an 18-cent loss. Revenues 156 versus 131. Q3 adjusted EPS loss at 15 to 16 cents versus 22, and revenues at 157 to 158 versus 140. They're seeing forward-year revenues at 5. Listen to this. So Q3 revenue 157, 158. They're seeing their forward-looking year revenue at 597 to 600 million. When their Q3 was 157, they're looking at trying to triple. Right? I mean, do you really want to believe that? So, what do they do? 50-day, 200-day smackdown. If they get a bounce off the 50, right? Looks like they're not going to be super choppy, but they smacked into their 200-day. They're pulling back. They're holding the daily top. Excuse me, they're holding the 4-hour top. Look for that 4-hour top bounce. Retest the 50. So it would be a bounce off of 207, back up to 225. Above 225, 245, 255. Right? That elusive 50-day 200 is going to be super important for them. I may just set an alert at the 200. If they can close above the 200 twice, then I'd look at trading them again. Okay, Activision Blizzard, they got bought up by Microsoft earlier, remember? I think that was them, right? Look at this big old move. This was before, yeah, this is that Microsoft earnings news, 65 to 85, even 93. They couldn't maintain that 200, and they've just been consolidating ever since. Off of earnings, however, they've dipped, right? Q4 adjusted EPS at 101 versus 131, so they lost 31 cents per share. Revenue at 216 versus 282, so they lost almost $500 million. They missed by their point, so 600 million they missed on their earnings, and net bookings fell 2.49 billion versus 305 billion year over year. Okay, The ES right now is making a Wu-Tang reversal, and it just broke through it, and it's into its next trading zone. That trading zone runs 44.75 to 48, or 448 to 4482. Okay. If it pulls back, this would be an area which it would reject, and I'm gonna go ahead and move my stop up to be able to make at least $5 off of this deal. But if it rips, I'm gonna go ahead and move my take profit all the way out of here back up to 4,500 or 44.99. All right. WWE Worldwide Wrestling. Here we go. Q4 EPS 70 cents versus 73. Love that news. Revenue 310 versus 325, so they missed on revenue, but they guided 4-1 adjusted at 90 to 100 million. 422 adjusted 360 versus 375, and sees their capex at 280 to 310 million. Look at this roller coaster, man! Big old roller coaster ride. Be aware of the $250 a share. So it would be a quick 4-hour bottom, 4-hour top. Safe play is above 51.10 for a move to 53 on WWE. And let's see, Regeneron. Remember REGN earnings 23.72 versus 18.35. So what is that? An additional $5 per share. It's pretty good. Q4 revenues at 4.95 billion versus 451, and their net sales increased 15%. And their other drugs net sales, which are recorded by Sanofi, SNY, increased 51%. Capital expenditures of 650 to 730 million. Okay, the only thing that concerns me about this is one, it's been choppy, chop, right? You could play 4-hour bottom, 4-hour top, 4-hour bottom, 4-hour top, 4-hour top, 4-hour bottom, 4-hour bottom, right? You could just play this up and down and up and down and up and down. It's a $20. These are $20 moves, just depending on what the options look like. You can make a pretty decent living just trading this stock from the 4-hour bottom to the 4-hour top. So we're going to test 4-hour top again at 627, 628. The safe move, if you want to wait until it crosses the 50 and breaks out of the 4-hour top at 632, there's going to be a quick pop to 640, and a little slow grind from 640 to 648, and then it would really have to do something to get above 650. Above 650, depending on how long it takes to get there, 670 is in the cards. Okay, so REGN is a nice little healthcare play. Like I said, this one pretty cyclical, right? It's in a cycle, up and down and up and down and up and down. Okay, all right. Not doing any financial earnings other than maybe Prudential. Oh, look at that rip. Nothing like making $100 on a futures play. Beep, 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 beep. Move that stop up. Gonna move that stop up. You know what? I'm gonna close this sucker out. Beep, 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 beep. All right, we'll give it to here and to here. There we go. Too bad y'all can't see what I'm doing over there. My bad. Let's see. In energy industrials, nothing that we trade. And then, oh, here we go. We got some news. Wow, we got a lot. All right, so Leslie Pools, LESL, we trade that a bunch. 6-cent loss versus a 5-cent estimated loss. 400 million more than expected in revenue. And let's see, they guided pretty decent guidance. So look, they're overtaking their 50. They went 4-hour bottom, 4-hour top. So above 21.99 or 21.90, moved to 4-hour top at 23. The elusive 200s at 23.90. So I don't think you're going to get much more past that. Okay. Clorox, which is definitely a beer bug stock, missed on earnings. They missed by about 20 cents per share. And They lowered their forward-looking 2022 adjusted EPS to 425 from 540. They're gonna. Ooh, that's a rough drop. So what happens when you have bad earnings and bad news? The 50 bounced off the 200. If it can get above it, it might pull the stock back up, to be honest with you, right? Currently trading like outside of all Keltner channels, and almost two full standard deviations away from the mean, right? That beeping you're hearing is me moving my stop. Yeah, so big bounce, big drop. Clorox's fall from grace. Anything that was like super popular during the beer bug has been having issues. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but anything that's got like an overinflated not EPA, not ES. There's a specific term about PE, right? Anything that's got overinflated PE ratio is just dumping. This is the daily on Clorox, right? Down to 156. This was the last couple of months of that fear of Omicron coming back in. Gap down, rallied up, gap back, gap, right? Looking at, geez, 142. So they're trading way down here, right? And like I said, they're trading, they closed at the mean, right? The zero line, they're trading 2 full standard deviations away from the zero line. If they continue to fall, 135 is on the table. If they get the bounce, right, they're going to bounce back to 149, then 154, right? It's going to take a lot. So watch Clorox if you're interested in how things fall. Okay. And Ford, I know a lot of people trade Ford. Ford adjusted EPS at 26 versus 45 cents, so they missed on earnings per share. Revenues at 337.7 billion, so they beat on revenue an additional 2 billion. They got their Ford 22 adjusted at 11.5 to 12.5 billion versus 10, and C's adjusted FCE at 5 to 6.5 billion. So, 4 hour. What's happening with Ford? 4 hour bottom, 4 hour top, 4 hour mid, rejected, 4 hour bottom, failure. Back testing that 4 hour bottom, weekly mid, right? This has got room to go down. Weekly mid to move back down to the weekly bottom, which would just be the monthly top. So that 200-day SMA is at 16. Remember, Ford couldn't get past like 20 forever. Well, guess what? If it can't reclaim the 4 hour Keltner channel, which is the green one that you see here, if it can't reclaim this green Keltner channel and start trend reversing, right, then it's gonna down cycle until it hits the 200. Okay, looks like they might be a little bit of recovery. This is a super active stock, so just be chill with it. Don't get stuck chasing waterfalls. All right, $90. Not a bad way to start the day. Not a bad way to start the day with that little rip off at ES. Okay. If y'all are interested in futures, let me know. I think I've mentioned this before. We can do a futures class, right? We can do a futures series if you'd like. We can start doing some training and some prep for if you guys want to be funded traders through like Top Hat. We can, I don't know why we wouldn't want to do that. All right, Amazon, check it. Yo, it was a $400 move, $500 total move yesterday. Closed at let's just call it $27.90. Earnings came out at $32.90. That's a $500 move. Ripped. All these wicks are gone. There's no stopping this sucker. So do we get a massive pullback? I think that there's going to be a lot of profit taking at the open. I would take profit if my I took profit on the way up. I've got fractional shares that I just cut. So regardless, profit taking at the open. Look for some of these key levels to fail. So we did a really we rallied up. We're pulled back. We're holding the 4-hour top. If we fail the 4-hour top with any conviction, which looks like we've already done pre-market, okay. Look for a move back to 3046, possibly back test to 3000. 3000 is a psychological level. Below that, 2979. Just keep moving my stop up. Is it going to be $100 trade? Oh, it's so close. It's so close. If ES cracks this next little level, it's gonna rip. Let me move my. All right. So yeah, look for the pullback. It touched the 50 from a Fibonacci perspective. If we wanted to look at it that way, the 50% retrace is the weekly Keltner channel bottom, right? The 618 looks like it might have already done, right? It's just chilling at that 618. So there we go. Not bad. $100 futures trade on the news. Hey, hey, hey. I don't know, y'all have Cane's where you're from? Cane's Chicken. They make chicken tenders. But their social culture is amazing. So you pull up in the drive-thru and you're like, oh, I want this, I want my order. And they're like, well, first of all, they greet you with, hey, 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 we're slinging chicken all day, or cluck, 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 we got that something. Just, it's hilarious. Pretty funny. All right. I'm going to do it on time. So yeah, Amazon, pretty important to watch. Does the Amazon Friday curse come in and they pull back to the 382, which would be 29.45? That'll shake the market. If we start getting a big old drop, people start panicking. Okay. All right, and that's about it. In world news, Bank of Japan must keep monetary policy ultra loose as inflation remains well below that of other countries. The governor said in Japan, nominal wages haven't risen much. It's hard to see inflation sustainability reach our 2% target unless wages rise in tandem with prices, of course, right? The governor told Parliament on Friday, slow wage growth and weak consumption have kept Japan's core consumer inflation stuck at 0.5% in December. This is that yen. The yen is, yeah. And then in Europe, the European Union Statistics Office, Eurostat, said retail sales in 19 countries sharing the euro fell 3% month over month for a 2% year-over-year rise. Economists polled by Reuters had expected a 0.5 monthly fall and a 5% annual rate rise. All right, ES is full flagging right now. All right, so you guys were hearing me talk about, I'm taking a futures trade. I bought here, right? And every time I was like, oh, I'm moving my stops up, I had my initial stop here, right at the top of the deb. I just started moving my stops up, and yep. So it was $100 from this level to this level at $5 a point. Okay, super easy. Margin was $40 per contract, right? So I always had a stop loss, right? Yeah. G Fuel. It's pretty gross. All right. Ooh. What level is that we hit and kissed? The 50% retracement. All right. And then let's see. Just earnings today. Before the open, nothing that we trade. We've already gone over them. We do have some calendar events that are going to affect the market today. Non-farm payrolls, right? Employment change, unemployment rate, hourly earnings, non-farm payroll, and unemployment rate, right? That's at 8:30 Eastern, so in about 30 minutes. That will kind of affect the market, so just be prepared for it. They're looking at the unemployment rate to stay the same Oh, too bad. Canada has a 6% unemployment rate. Ooh. But they're looking for those non-farm payroll numbers to stay the same or possibly gradually increase. All right. Let's look at it for the last couple months. All right. So going into the beginning of last year, last January, we were down 151,000. April was our really good month. Pull back. And kind of fought our way up throughout the summer, and then we dropped off, and it gave us a big middle finger here in November. So we'd like, can't remember if this up or down is good on this one. I can't remember, but this unemployment rate, sky high, 20%. That's crazy, and it's just slowly been chilling. Right, 3.7 possible. All right, here comes the pullback on the futures. Let's get into them. Oh wait, hold on. World news: S&P futures are trading just off overnight lows, erasing strong gains following the positive reaction to Amazon earnings, which was up 11% which is down. Hold on. Which pairs gains of 11% after rising 18% on results initially, ahead of the monthly job reports in about 2 hours. The tech-heavy Nasdaq, however, is managing to hold on its solid gains so far. January payroll figures coming in at 830 after the surprise ADP miss Wednesday of negative 300,000 jobs versus positive 200,000. Ooh, I missed that. That's what happened then. What? Ooh, that's rough. Yeah, okay, that makes total sense. My bad. I gotta do a better job of reporting those news. Okay. So what are they saying about the treasury yield? All right, the 10-year treasury yield rises above 1.84% overnight as global bonds remain under pressure after Thursday's BOE hike and hawkish ECB pivots. But yields have since slipped to 1.82%. In Asian markets, the Nikkei index rose 200 points. Go, bae. The Shanghai remained closed. Hang Seng reopened and surging 3.24% or 771 points. That's huge for the Hang Seng. And the DAX is much lower, falling 220 points. The DAX is down, or 1.5%, and the FTC is up a few points. So, which do I want to show you? That's a Euro USD. No. All right, we're going to use our set. All right, so this is our future set through TradingView. I like TradingView for futures because it allows me to throw them all up on one chart and there's no issues, right? It's not slow to load. I've been having issues with Thinkorswim, right? Mainly because I'm on a Mac and I don't have like a 10-core processor. All right, so what happened, right? We rallied up, right? We overtook the 21. We closed 1 day above it, 2 days below it. Is this holding the mean or do we continue to fall? We did the 50% retrace. We did not come down and touch the 200 like I thought we were going to do. Real close to it yesterday. Maybe today we come down and touch it to complete that pullback. This is the pattern that there's two patterns that we're looking at, right? And I put them up here. Let me see. I just move this over here. This is the pattern we're hoping to see, right? Which is that nice little W-shaped Wu-Tang pattern, which would involve this leg down to retrace, and then we get a rip. If we fail this 21 and we continue to fall off a cliff, right, we could potentially, let's just say we're in that third leg, we could hold all the way back down as long as it makes a higher low. It's considered a win. There is a rule of thumb with Elliott Wave that this can only pull back, I think, 618%, which would be this the 200. Wait, which is this line here that we're looking at, the 44.35. Did it touch it today? Oh no, it almost did. We hit 44.54. So we're about 100 points to the downside away from doing a 618 retrace from this rally that we've been in. Okay, breaking it down to the 4-hour. Right, we came up, we ran right through, right in this trading zone that I drew for y'all. Okay, right up to this key level. Right, there's a major level here. I'm like, watch this, because we've got confluence, congruence, confluence, confliction, addiction, subscription, prescription. I lost it. So 618, 50% retracement, kind of chopped there. We're currently holding the 21, and we have a positive 50. A little bit of a pullback to the 382, 44.35 would let us know if we don't hold this level, we got a downside target, right? We got a new low coming. Possibly 618, but that would be trend reversal. It can get nasty, folks. The best thing that we could hope for today would probably be a quick flush to retest the 382, 618. Like, let's retest this level here, have it confirm support, and then we start moving our way back up with the 200-day overhead 4-hour, bringing it down to our 30-minute chart, just to kind of get a little bit closer look at what's going on. I caught the bottom here, I wrote it up, and we get that pullback and either continuation up, or this is a down candle, right? Continuation up, pull back to support, right? In here, 44.66. Yeah, that's about right. And then we move back on up to the 50% retracement, or this 21.50. So this is a 200. We got a kind of a death cross. The 21.50 just crossed down below the 200 on the 30-minute chart. If this pattern, right, continues to happen through the 2-hour and the 4-hour and then the daily, it's a downtrending pattern. So this is good for us because this is a 200. The 50-21 cross at 200. Now we're looking for that 21.50 bounce. Yeah, there's lots of stuff happening. These are key levels. Right? This is a very exciting time to be watching futures. Okay. And then finally, let's go check out the NQ. This is the tech-heavy Nasdaq, as everybody likes to call it. Right? I'll call it the ATM machine. So that move on ES was like, oh, we were pulling up, and then we need to pull back and decide if we're gonna, go as low as the 382 before we retrace to the upside, or if we fail that, then we have a larger downside move coming. So we're just trading in this zone that I created a long time ago. Let's extend that sucker out, right? It's still valid. Yeah, I like those levels as well. So we rallied up, we broke the 200, we broke the 21, dojied, pulling back. I don't know if we're gonna create a little bear flag here, or if, so this is February 2nd, right? We had a mother bar, downside mother bar, right? Which could very well just keep us in chop, right? So today will be a decision, like major decision day. Do we start the retracement back up to highs, or do we continue lower for one more down day? Then we make a decision to go continue up or down. So with it being Friday, we may just, it's going to be a very interesting day, like I said. So looking at this on the 4-hour, like we did last one, right? Rallied up, 50% retracement, came back to the 382, failed that, back tested it, downside move, right? 618 retracement from, so the dotted lines are the extension. So from this low to this high, this is a 618 pullback from this move here. Let me show those. From this move here, right? That's a 618 pullback from that. Held the 50, broke the 21, 200 is not in play yet. So if we break down below this green line here, which is a 50, so NQ below 14,484, get a quick flush to the lower end of our trading zone, possibly kissing the 382 at 14,300, and then we could bounce from there, fight our way back up through, or that's when we're like, oh, chop suey-ville, or potentially an even larger downside move. Okay. It's like, oh, we're bearish, we're bearish, we're bearish. This made a fool out of me, right? This was going into last night, or into yesterday. Rejected the 200, 200. So this big green line, big line in the sand, we can't get above it. Worse that this is a 1, 2, 3 downside move setting up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't drop because there's no room. Something along the lines of that. That's what this looks like it's setting up. Or contrarian, right? Kind of a, I can't say it's a 1, 2, 3. It's just not. I can't say it's the woo. So just keep an eye on the Nasdaq. My general rule of thumb on Fridays is Fridays will take all of your money. Right? You could have the greatest week in the stock market and then come into Fridays and have your lunch taken. Okay, so be careful. If you've had a great week, don't be greedy. Take today and go do something. I'm not going to trade the open. I'm going to go get a massage this morning. I mean, just why risk it for the biscuit? No, just be chill, right? Protect your capital. Have a good weekend. All right, so same deal across the board, right? Rallied up. We are holding the 200 SMA on the Dow, right? Which is the 50% retracement from this move, from the high to the low. All right. If we need to do a 618 or a 50% retracement from this move here, right, from low to high, right, then we have to come back down. We have to break the 200, which will panic people, back down to 34,612 or potentially 34,484. Okay. We could very easily just bounce from here and start our Elliott wave correction, which would be, this would be the 1, 2, big old 3, 4, 5, right? Something along those lines. There's this 1, 2, 3 Wu-Tang, you know, W shape. This is a Dow. I misdrawn it over here. It's supposed to go like this. It's like the 1, 2, right? 3. I think I have that right. Yeah, I do have just the numbers are off, right? It's supposed to not count. This is 1. This is 0, or this would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like this. Okay. Bringing down the Dow down to the 4-hour. The Dow down. So rallied up, rejected the 200, pulling back, broke the 21, testing the 50. They're green, they're positive, they're moving. If we can't retake, come on, there we go. Possible move down to here. Hopefully y'all can see it. It's just a matter of finding the level, right? I like a retest of the 618 on the Dow, back on the 30-minute. Right. Pretty topsy-turvy, lopsy-lurvy move to the downside. Just make these pretty accurate. Oof. If I do the trend line, right, down to the 50%, reject here, pull back. All right, that's it for the Dow. And then finally the old red-headed Russell. Ye old Russell. All right, looking at the Russell on the daily, the dilly-dally daily. Rallied up, pulled back, couldn't take over that tree line, right? Failed it, failed our longer-term trend line, pulling back, creating the inverted head and shoulders that I was talking about earlier in the week. And I was like, I could see an inverted head and shoulders. We could even come all the way back down to 1931 for that move, right? Yeah, that's what I see. So, whoa, what did I do? I forgot spacebar lets you tab through your charts. Pro tip, spacebar lets you tab through your grid layout. Didn't know if y'all knew that or not. However, the Russell is still very weak, right? We've got this 200 up here someplace. Get my trend line out of the way, right? This is not, maybe it is a trend line. Let me change that to purple. There we go. All right. So red is dead, right? Negatively stacked 2150, 200. 200 is fighting at this level here. This is no longer a trading zone. We don't need that. Might save it as a micro supply zone. But anyway, so yeah, I'm seeing an additional downside move on the Russell, right? Very negatively stacked still. Look at on the 30. Yeah, this is just pretty much death. Do we draw a trend line? Let's see what happens here. And we broke that. I don't even know where I could begin to find a trend. Is it this one? And there's just nothing there, right? So continued failure in the Dow, or in the Russell. So all you AMC holders, you know what that means for you. More disappointment. Sorry. So we do have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. So you could get long AMC above 16. Right, I think the neckline's in here somewhere. That would be daily bottom, daily mid, daily top. With, yeah, so the 4-hour mid is the neckline. So if we overtake the 4-hour mid to the 4-hour top, so 16, let's do 1632 to 1750 or 1740. 1823 is going to be a struggle. Grind your way back up to 22, but it's not going to be 100. It's not going to be. Yeah. Bad AMC. But yeah, nice inverted head and shoulders. Okay. And finally, gold. I typically don't do like a deep dive on gold and crude, but I know there's a couple of members here that have been interested in it lately and just kind of following the path of what's been going on with gold. And it's doing what we thought that it was going to do, right? It is slowly forming a nice, strong wedge. Let me just get nice, strong wedge going on, right? Rally pullback. So 1, 2, 1, right? This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I think gold has an increasing day to day. We do have the zero line coming in at 1825, so there's your upside target. Above that, I think we reject 1825 and back test it. Maybe get a wick or two above it, back test it, and try to do 1, 2, 3 up to this channel of resistance. So I like gold for today. Yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. Looking pretty good so far. Stock positive moving averages, right? Which means crypto's gonna bite today. We do have a trading zone that we're just entering that goes 1815 to 1820. 1820 is your next level of resistance, or excuse me, 1821. Above 1821, 1826, which is our zero line for our it's our zero line in a regression model, if that makes any sense. Okay. And then finally, yeah, I like the giant wedge that's forming. Looking at crude is continuing to be a bully and make its move, right? Overtook 90. We started talking about crude a couple weeks ago. Laz was like, hey, let's look at energy. Let's look at crude. Let's look at Chevron. Yes, this thing is making a move. They're saying $100 a barrel. Okay. I'm saying you're trading at 1-2 deviations away from your regression line. I think you're starting to get 2.5. Starting to get a little bit overextended, right? I think we're so 96 would 90. I think we're so we might get another update in crude. The bonds, which is the TLT equivalent, right? If you're looking for the equity equivalent of ZB, which is bonds, go check out TLT. It is creating that broadening pattern that strat traders like to talk about so much. Right, you can see it here. I believe it is. Does that look right? All right, big old megaphone broadening pattern. The inverse of T-bonds is the ES. So if bonds are down, ES should be moving up. If you can look at it right now, reset my chart. See this move down? This should cause a move up right off of that 221. Like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Just there we go. Another futures trade. See if I can make another $20, $30, $40. All right, since I'm really not going to trade anything today, like I said, I've got an appointment. All right, so our bread and butter list on our 30-minute. Let's just check our dailies. Our dailies. All right, let's go. Apple with a nice move, right? This is the daily above the stone line. We do have some stack positive moving averages where you have a rising 21 that's looking to overtake the snow line, which is 170, and overtake the 50. Okay. So it's time for a pullback on Apple. Do we pull back and back test the snow line at 170? Right, hold the 50 on the daily, retest 170 on Apple. I think that I'm okay with that. All right, I think I'd be all right with Apple. All right, retesting 171. Did it do it? $170.53. That's a low. 171.50. Am I $1 off, or do we drop another $1? Okay. So what that looks like over here, we've got a rising 200. We have positively stacked moving averages. We've got a nice little healthy pullback in Apple happening right now. Dividend day is yesterday, right? So shares should have dropped 22 cents, which it did at least, right? Now after dividend day, we usually get a recovery. So this is the 4-hour mid, right? That it rejected. It's holding the 21, and it's in the daily cloud. So it wants to get back up to 173, but I think we need to come back down and test the 4-hour bottom. 50-day, 34 moving average, 4-hour bottom. So I think we get that retest of 170.50. 170.50, and then we get that move back up. Give some of this stuff time to recover, reset, double green, which means that Moving averages are all usually they're all positive. Red means that there's that price action is below it. This 200 on the 4 hour is going to definitely be something to keep an eye out on, right? I think that's the bounce. Okay. The rest of our bread and butter stocks, AMD, big gap up last couple days. Definitely formed a doji yesterday, right? This is a trend killer candle, right? It looks like a sword because what happens is you've got a trend coming, right? You've got a trend coming. A sword goes up and stabs it and kills the trend and reverses it. So if that's the case, then it was pulling back. Do we get a bounce here on AMD, or does AMD need to come and fill some of these gaps? All right, tree line at 119.93. Below that, I think we have a nice little flush back to 116, possibly 111, right? Nice little pullback there. I'm going to keep an eye on AMD. I don't like this big wick right here. It looks like it's happened twice, so there's a lot of pressure and indecision in this 120 to 124 area. Google, big gap up, pulling back to fill the gap. Possibly back test the 50, 28.22, or the 200 at 27.85. Okay. I'm going to watch what's happening with our little futures chart here. And then NVIDIA, right, pull back, rejected the 200, pulling back to support. I don't know if we get a down move to the tree line at 235, or if this is a so that's a 618 pullback. Do we come back and test the 50%? We may, right? I'll just keep an eye on NVIDIA. Tesla, I don't know what's going on with Tesla, to be honest with y'all. Ooh, a nasty candle down. All right, NVIDIA on the daily, like I said, looks like, so this was yesterday. We barely closed below the 21. Do we get one more down day to 235, 220? That's a 233, 235 level. That'd be a nice pullback to a 50% retracement. We could also hold the 618 and then continue to move back up. So downside target would be the 234, 235 level. Upside target would be 245, 252. Okay. That's NVIDIA, right? I can see that. Hopefully y'all can start seeing this, right? Please tell me you can see this pattern. This is, if you trade this 1618 retracement pattern on the open for the rest of your life, you'll be successful. Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. What do we have up next? Wait, what? Oh, no. Apple, AMD, Google. Video. I guess it spacebar doesn't go through your tabs, it goes through your watch list. So my bad on that. I thought it was gonna be slick. Guess not. Oof, this is a rough little pullback. All right, so the Tesseract, what's happening here? The Tesla looks a lot like the Russell, doesn't it? Little inverted head and shoulders. This giant wick right here means that there's a lot of selling pressure, right? Inverted hammer. I don't know if that's what that kind of what it is. Tesla rejected the 21 not once but twice. Wow. News came out, right? There it is. Wow, that's a big old pullback. All right. Come on, give me my stuff. So that giant pullback is off of the Canadian unemployment change and unemployment rate. We're not seeing US ones yet. There we go. Non-farm payroll change. What? That should be good news. Oh, that's why. We increased unemployment rate up 0.1%. Oh, average hourly earnings is up. I mean, this is good. This is good. This is bad. And this is bad. So sorry, I'm just kind of digest this a little bit here. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, I knew that was gonna suck. Wow. 3.9, they went to 4%. All right, so you think everybody's going to overlook the massive increase in hourly or average hourly earnings or the positive non-farm employment change and just focus on this 1% unemployment change? Absolutely. People are looking for a reason to be scared. All right. Tesla. Anyway, Tesla I think has a down day, right? Another 868.50. The S&P, the SPY, pulled up, broke the 200, back tested the 21, held it, and is currently I mean, is this the move? I guess it depends on where we do our fib levels from, right? If we just go off of this low, it's a 618 retracement already. If we move them down, it's not quite the 618 yet. So does this level hold and we continue to rip for SPY? Or do we get an additional pullback to some of these key levels at 443? Well, we just made a new lower low, overnight low on the ES. Wow. That might send some things over a cliff. Oh, I didn't get in on time. Let's go check on our futures real quick, just so you can see how that affected the market, right? Whoopsie. Making a new low. There's nothing down here to support it except for 44, 4440, right? Made a new low. Everything's dip, dropping, rock. Oh my gosh. That's a massive move. Ugh. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. Okay. Where do I think we're going? 44.38. $44.38 incoming. Do we bounce off that level? Maybe. Wow, that's huge. All right, so the Nasdaq broke the 50% retracement, coming back down to 382. So y'all want to see what that looks like real quick? I got it. Okay, we haven't made a new low yet, right? That's 14,457, which looks like we're trying to get back down to do. Right. It didn't make it. Real close, though. Real close. Let me move this over here. Oh, dude, that's a horrible move. Unless my numbers are off, 14,460. $14,457. All right, well, you know what's going to happen today. Panic at the disco. No, people are going to panic. They're panicking already. All right, so where was I? Let's talk about the SPY pulling back. Well, the SPY is going to pull back, QQQ is going to pull back, and the SPX is going to pull back. So just take your pick. Google support at 2,800. NVIDIA support at 235. AMD supports down here at 116 to 112. Apple 170. 170, 168 on Apple. Tesla 856. The SPY below 443.85. 439, 435. QQQ. 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 All right, let's get into it. So, all right. So let me go through the chat real quick and one second here. I gotta do something for somebody. One second. One second. I'm using the beta version, so you can use the older regular version if you want. And if you need to change my coloring or anything, go ahead. Okay. All right, let's get into it. This is FlowTrade. This is a smart money dark pool block trade algorithm software provided by FlowTrade. They've created their own flow index. What is a flow index, you ask? Well, the flow index tracks smart money dark pools, block trades, large institutions, hedge funds, and all of the big boy transactions. From that, it creates a predictive leading indicator. What that means is this: if price action is heading in one direction and the flow index is heading in the opposite direction, you can believe the price action is going to come back down and meet where the flow index and price diverged. Why? Because the way that large institutions get into their positions. If they just jump in guns blazing into a full position at several $billion, what it's going to do is it's going to artificially inflate the price, suck all the liquidity out of it, and you're going to get a vacuum that's actually going to, when it all settles, price actions actually be lower than where they entered. So they would go into the hole negatively. What they do is they scale into positions as the stock is coming down, right? I'll find a good example of it, but imagine a stock price coming down. Flow index is scaling into it as it's coming down, right? They're buying at 29.50. They're buying at 29.25. They're buying at 29.20, right? They're buying at 28.75, 28.50. Well, guess what? As soon as price action finds a support level at 28.50, right, they're in a full position and they're going to start selling out of that position as price action's recovering. So as price action goes from 28.50, 28.75, 2900, they're unloading, they're selling those shares to people that are buying them. Okay, flow index tracks what smart money does. That's the easiest description I could ever possibly make for it. Okay. My chart setup is pretty simple. White bars are price action. The purple line is the regular algorithm. Any blue lines you see are dark pool block trades. Red lines are regular block trades, and white lines are fun. I'm just kidding. If you see me draw a white line on my screen, that means that a dark pool block trade and a regular block trade have printed so close to each other, or even on top of each other, that I can't separate them out with a different line. Those are key areas of inflection, major inflection points. Draw a line on your screen at that level and see what happens with price. Okay, so starting from the top, I'm going to say good morning to Terry, Johnny, Andrea. Morning, Andrea. Welcome. What's up, Chevy Drop Top? Laz, my boy, I'm glad you're back, dude. I'm glad you're feeling better. What's up, Nick? It's Rebo. Watch list. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Morning watch list. And yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So there's been some requests. I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 4-chart screen real quick. I'm going to type them in. I'm going to go wake up my knucklehead, which is my youngest son, and then I'll come back and start reviewing. Okay, we want to look at SPY. Terry wants to look at SPY and Tesla. Johnny wants to check out Ford with their earnings. And Andrea wants to check out the Apple for sure. Let's check out Apple. All right, 1 second, I'll be right back. All right. Alrighty. All right, so we'll start with SPY. The first thing I noticed with SPY is the amount of dark pool blocks that are up here that have not been filled yet. These little white dots are orders that are just sitting there. What does that mean? There's a bunch of orders up here that never got filled. Are they going to be a magnet? Oh, that's a bad move. That's a bad candle. Just real quick, I want to show you guys what a reversal candle looks like. Because I always keep talking about it, and this is a good example of one right here. Right, the NQ. Fall off a cliff, we get one, we get a rally back up, and then we get that third leg down. It looks like this. Right? Down, up, right, down, and then there. And you want to short it here. Right? Short below there, set your stop loss right there. Okay. So I digress. So with SPY block trades the last 2 days, massive amounts of dark pools right at this 450, 750 level. This is a white line level here. I'll have to check and see if the coloring has been fixed yet or not, which I doubt. Okay, I'm showing you the SPY 1 minute chart just because there's a bunch of block trades up here that did not get filled yesterday. Okay, looking at it on the 15 minute chart, we have the flow index is trading with price action, but it's to the downside. So flow index is pulling price. They're basically selling out of their positions. There's a dark pool at 446.60. If that level fails, we trade down to the bottom of the trading zone, which is at 440. Possibly a little bit of support coming in at 450, which is 440 down to this zone right now. It's 440. There may be a little minor support coming in at 441, but I think 440 is the next stop down. So if we do trade down to 440, right, we could just very easily, right, chop there for a little bit, or we start our next down cycle, which should, the last time this happened, it looked like this, right, up cycle, and then we get a down cycle. So flow index is definitely pointed pretty heavily down. ES is looking to do a Wu-Tang reversal right now. I'm gonna keep an eye on that on the side of I'm gonna side eye it, okay? So yeah, looking at the 1 minute, we had a little bit of bullish divergence going into the close, right? A lot of orders coming in based on like Amazon earnings and stuff, right? This is after market. Well, this is going into the close, right? Don't know if these blocks are going to hold. We do have some magnets up here, right? Right, there's definitely a magnet or two. My colors didn't hold. That's such BS. We got some upside magnets. Dark pool support 446.40. If to the upside, right? If this level holds and the flow index about faces right here at this level, 448 is the divergence 0.1, 449 is divergence 0.2, right? And what I mean by divergence is this. Divergence occurs when oh, I grabbed the wrong tool. I grabbed the wrong dang tool. Now I'm not able to. Oh my gosh. Crap. Hold on. I gotta do something. So basically, divergence occurs when price is heading this direction, flow index is heading the opposite direction. That point at where they diverge is the target line, right? We'll get into some better examples of divergence here shortly, I'm sure, but let's get through this list because it's kind of a large list. I just want to make sure everybody gets taken care of. Okay, Tesseract, right? Tesla on the 15-minute. Well, what's been going on? We do have this. So micro example of bearish divergence is this. See where price is heading in this direction, and the flow index was heading in this direction here. Right. I'm not going to be super precise because I'm streaming and I need to try to get as much in as I can. So price is rallying, right? Well, the flow index is, they're selling you these positions that are being bought up. Well, as soon as we hit a resistance point, the flow index starts buying, starts buying back in again. Well, that divergence has to play out, right? So that this divergence has played out. The divergence point was 891. Tesla rallied up to 935 and came right back down to 891. So we have a dark pool level at 891.14, a regular block level at 882. That's our downside magnet. Below 882, do you see what we got going on here? Downside gap filled at 850. Low index is currently selling. Okay. There's many, like a little bit. So see what happens with the flow index at its previous support level, right? If it breaks down and makes a lower low, then we can anticipate some failure in Tesla and some larger moves to the downside. Tesla on the 1 minute chart going to the close yesterday, there was this bullish divergence that, right, had played out. Doesn't make sense. Let me double check what these are. Let me dig into that a little bit. Yeah, but see, flow index trading right with price action, dark pool level to dark pool level. So next up on our list was Ford. All right, so Ford did have earnings. The earnings kind of jack with the flow index a little bit because it's kind of a wild card. But as you can see, right, we have clearly defined bearish divergence. Okay, divergence occurred. Come on. Sometimes I move too fast for the chart. So divergence occurred right here at 1992, right? Flow index is, or price action is rallying. Flow index is selling off. As soon as flow index decides to, to change direction a little bit, divergence comes down and plays out. 1992. Currently, flow index is selling, right? We're going to look for it to maintain a series of higher lows. If it does that, we could look at a reversal here. However, if it does not make a higher low and continues to sell off, then we have these downside targets. But based on the other earlier looks, 1950, 1894 is the downside targets on Ford. All right, Apple, AAPL, not SST, AAPL. I'm gonna go grab my boy real quick. All right, thanks for being patient. All right, this is a good example of bearish divergence on Apple, right? So where did the divergence occur? Initially, let's just say here, this one, 161, all right. I think that's pretty good representation of divergence, don't you? Apple fells 172. Can definitely easily pull back 170, 163. Ooh, that's a bear flag. Then it gap fills to the downside 170, 41. Below 170, 41, it's got a trading zone that runs 169.98 to 168.14, right? Below that, another trading zone 166 or 167 down to 165. Yeah. So, I mean, doesn't look pretty for Apple, to be honest with you. I'm going to look at 170. I wrote this down earlier. Hold on. Let me just look at my notes from earlier. Apple 170, 165 puts. 170, 165 puts. Okay. All right. Next up on the list was cat. So Johnny with the cat. I like trading. I like this one. All right. So what do we got going on here? Flow index is net buying. Right. Net buying. We have some divergence where they start selling as people are buying. Divergence played out. Gap fill. Some potential 200 psychological level. So the flow index is trading with price, right? The flow index is coming down, price is coming down. All these little micro divergences have been played out, right? Broken support, psychological. So 200 is a psychological level. We got a regular block trade that came in on the 3rd, came in yesterday at 1500, which is here. It came in at 1505. So it hasn't been filled yet, right? So there's a regular block just sitting here waiting to be filled. I would wait to see if the flow index can start making a higher low and higher high. And then we come up and we use this as a magnet to the upside. So 201.77, there's a dark pool that came in that definitely got taken care of. So probably some sell orders there. Regular block, buy order, look for a move back up. Contrarian, if the market falls and we break our support at 200, we have a downside move to 198.50 and then as low as 194. Watch for the bounce here with the flow index. If it bounces, it can pull price action up with it. If it continues to fall, price will go falling with it. Okay, Roblox. What happened with Roblox? They had some bad news. What's up with that? Roblox with the bad news. Raiden. Raiden. Sorry. Come on, dude. Roblox had bad news? What news did they have? Nothing I can see. All right, let's check it out. Roblox, we have bearish divergence. It's pretty clear to see divergence, right? If we break 60.62, we have a downside gap to fill to 58.21. Below that trade zone down to 56, 56.50. Below 56.50, we have a flush down to about 53. Yeah, I like it to the downside. There is a gap to fill. So Roblox target at 59.58. Roblox 58 target. Okay. Dwack. All right. What's up, Nick? Dwack. All right. What do we got going on here? So higher lows, trading with price. Price is nice, strong uptrend. All right, we have a little bit of really fresh divergence that occurred here. All right. I mean, it's really fresh divergence, but there is some downside divergence there. If this giant wedge, right? If this wedge fails, look for a pullback to 79.35. And then whatever happens with the flow index at that point. If it continues to pull off or pull back, then I think the price will continue to fall with the flow index down to the previous level of support at 77. Below that, 75, below 75, 70, 65, so on and so forth. It's a pretty significant wedge right there, though, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corrective pattern. No block trades in the last 2 days. We got some dark pulls in the last 4 days. Looks like those have already probably been taken care of at this level here and this level here. Definitely watch what the flow index does at this level. If it pulls back and continues to move to the downside, then I think, yeah, and a little bit of bearish divergence here that probably going to be, yeah, it's just that level. If the flow index reverses at 76.33 and moves up, it might be enough to break this out of the wedge, but I think it's going to reverse. We'll just have to keep an eye on what the overall market tells us, which, by the way, is not having the greatest of days, to be honest with you. NQ is making its next leg down. All right, let me get to the last one, and we will... okay, I already looked at Apple. Apple is clapped right now, is that what you're saying? Ooh, it broke the 200. All right, it broke its 50. Like I said, we're looking for Apple to bounce off the 4-hour 170. So from 170 about 169, right? Below that, we have a downside target at 164, 162. Okay, daily top. Daily mid is at 169. If that fails, we have daily bottom incoming. Okay. It failed at 5,200. Yeah, Apple is clapped. So is NQ. So is everything. Okay. Really? Roblox? Is that like recent news? Because I remember there was a bunch of like Roblox YouTube stuff. Like they were creating some inappropriate characters previously. Apple is clapped. All right. Should we drop top? Ask what was the stop loss percentage you used on that ES percent or manual? Okay. The way that I do my ES is I've got a bracket order that's saved so that anytime I hit buy, it creates a bracket order. I've got a 12-point stop loss and a 56-point take profit. So 1 to 5, right? Oh my god, this is nasty. So glad I'm not trading this. So limit down levels. Remember, I need to go. Hold on. Watchlist wants to look at BA real quick. So let me get through these flow trades and then I'm going to do a quick just review. BA is got a bull flag forming. The flow index is bearishly separated, right? So there's a little bit of minor divergence down to about 204. That would also be breaking the trend line, right? So if we break this dark pool support, 205, excuse me, 204.90 or 204.50, and then possibly as low as 203, or we come back and fill this regular block at 202.50. Below 202.50, things start to get pretty woody. Up until this point, flow index was trading with price action, and then they started to take profits at this level here, right? And it's not able to make a higher low, or I mean a higher high. So it looks like it might be either downtrending or reversing back up. This is a nice pennant though, so don't discount that, right? This divergence is very fresh and it's like just one day. So do we get an up day to 208.50 and then another down to about 207, or do we crack the 209, or excuse me, crack 209 and then rally to 210, then gap fill up to 215? This is a lot of overhead resistance. It's being squished. Just keep an eye on the flow index. Today's going to be an ugly day. Okay, last one is Snapchat. All right, so Snapchat blowout earnings, right? They're up here. I can't remember what Snap's trading at now. They basically doubled, right? I need to give it a couple more days for the flow index to absorb all of these regular blocks that are just sitting up here, right? It just ate all of these blocks. I think it's trading at 40 now. Isn't Snapchat at like 40? All right, so it hit 40. Remember I said that rally up and pull back, right? It fills the daily mid, 4-hour mid, daily bottom incoming. All right, so Snapchat hit 40, so it rallied through all of these blocks. Let me just pull the last. So what do you see here? Look at these dark pool levels, right? They all came in at the close, right? At 37, 38, 39. Price just ripped off of these regular blocks, right? All these regular blocks came in, a bunch of buy orders, ripped through these dark pool levels. These are all probably sellers, so expect some profit taking and some pullback. Holy cow, that's a big move. All right, and then what's up, Anthony? What's up, Laz? Johnny's sitting on his hands. Like I said, I'm going to get a massage this morning. I'm not trying to play in this. Are you crazy? I had 2 good trades this week. I'm up. I'm green for the week. I'm not trying to get my money back. I like my money. You gotta take my lunch money. Just kidding. All right, so we traded down through the bottom of that trading zone, right? Let's bring this out to the daily. All right, I got to do this and I got to run, right? One second. So we traded from the top of that zone down to the bottom. We broke the 50% retracement, okay? Next key stop is 14,300, but I want to show you the ES. Remember on the stream yesterday I talked about limit down days and where they would stop it, right? Look at that. We hit this level. You guys are like, no way is it going to hit there. Guess what? It did. So we did the 50% retracement. We did the 618 retracement. Bringing up our 4-hour. Right, we are at a reversal zone, right? So if we use this as support, that will complete our down cycle. Completes our down cycle of at least a 618 retracement. If this level breaks, if we can't maintain 44.35, then we can come back down and test 43.95. Now, where's my limit down numbers? Sorry, I wrote these down. Okay. 45.77 was basically the point, right? 45.77. All right, 45.77 was the close. That was our basis point. 45.77. Up here. 7% limit down is 42.55. Right? 42.55 is way down here. Yes, it's a big move down. But if we crack these levels, we can get some quick flushing. Okay. Do I think that this was just a pre-market pullback? Well, let's think about what's going to happen at the open, right? Everybody's taking profit in Snapchat and Amazon, right? This is going to, you guys have the levels, right? So either we trade the 618 to 50% retracement zone today, we trade that down, or we bounce here and we start recovering for a large move to the upside. Do I think it's possible right now? I think we trade the down zone. I think we hit 50% retracement. Okay. Down, up, down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God, that would be ugly. So, I gotta run. That's it. Thanks for joining me. I'm Darkwell Algo. Crap, it's late. If you have any questions, hit me up. If you're in the Discord, send me a private message if you have any questions. And yeah, just stay safe, stay green. It's Friday. Don't lose your money on a Friday because you want to try to get in to some volatility, let it shake out, get a more clearly defined move next week. Just be careful. I don't want y'all losing your money. Right? Don't want you to lose your money. Okay. I will see